Yo, what is good, YouTube? Carlos, USS Too Fast, bringing a very helpful video. I know I haven't done a video in about a year now. Yeah, pretty much going on a year and everything like that. And if you follow me on Instagram, obviously you have noticed that I did go ahead and trade in my Charger Daytona. And my little man is chilling in the back. Say what's up, dude. Say what's up, dude. So obviously he's back there, and we'll get into, you know, can kids fit in the back seat or whatever the case. But yes, if you follow me on Instagram, obviously you notice that I did get rid of my Charger Daytona. That was my baby. I'll always remember her, especially after buying that vehicle. All the people that I met, all the events I went to, everything I did as far as modifications, try to make that car my own, is most definitely going to be something that I'm really going to miss. I had a great time, races, you know, things of that nature. And that's what pretty much got me into this whole car scene, and got me to know a lot of individuals who have helped me out today, and obviously even helped me out make this choice from going from a Charger Daytona to obviously a Chevy Camaro. And like I said, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. So yes, I went ahead and purchased a brand new 2019 Camaro ZL1 1LE 10-speed. It confuses a lot of people because of the fact that yes, it is a 1LE. Now what makes it a 1LE, even though it's not 6-speed manual, is the fact that it has the wheels, the tires, and with the carbon fiber spoiler that's obviously on the back. I was fortunate enough to find this specific vehicle, 10-speed auto, because I wanted to try the new transmission. Heard a lot of good things about it, and especially after doing 3 months of research, watching 3 months of YouTube videos of should I get a Challenger Hellcat or should I get the new Camaro ZL1. And you know, like I said, I heard a lot of good things about the new 10-speed ZL1s, and at the end of the day, what I really wanted to do was find a vehicle that was different and wanted an overall different look, honestly. It took me 3 months to make the choice, like I said already. But what makes this car specifically a 1LE is the fact that it, I already said, has the wheels, the tires, and the carbon fiber spoiler. I was fortunate enough to find this vehicle in Missouri, so I had to drive my car down to Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, trade it in. They gave me a bomb-ass trade-in value for my Charger, which helped me out a lot, so I put that positive equity towards this car and purchased this car. Practically, yeah, it was brand new, had like 3 miles on it. That was not my intentions whatsoever. I was not looking for a brand new car. I was actually looking for a used 2018 with a couple thousand miles on it, already broken, things like that. But like I said, after searching the web for 3 months, I found a really good deal. It was an offer I could not pass up, so I went ahead, drove down to Missouri, traded in my car, got this car brand new, like I said, 3 miles on it, and it was pristine. They had it as soon as I got up to the dealership, had it right there in the front row. Everybody was already looking at it, and honestly, I didn't even know that was the one that I was buying, because I only saw pictures of it via cell phone. I saw pictures online, so I contacted the dealership. I said, hey, I'm trying to find out if this really has the 1LE package, and we'll get into more details later on. Can you please send me pictures, this and that? So like I already stated, what the 1LE package consists of is the wheels, the tires, these specific wheels, these specific tires, and the carbon fiber spoiler, the big ass wing, which I absolutely love. What kind of sold me on this car, with the exception of the interior. So it did in fact have it, and yes, it was the 10-speed auto. So at that point in time, I told them, I said, hey, I'm really interested in this car. What can I do? I got this car, I would love to trade in. I'm military, this and that. And the greatest thing about Dahmer Chevrolet, like I said, located in Kansas City, Missouri, was the fact that they worked out everything over the phone. They worked out everything via the email. So huge shout out to Dahmer Chevrolet. Patrick Sullivan and his team definitely helped me out. No, they're not paying me to say this or anything like that. I just do this just because, you know, they really helped me out. It's really hard to trust someone over the phone, especially a dealership, because, you know, to them it's their job. To us, we're just trying to find the best price, you know, whether it's trade-in value, whether it's a new vehicle, used vehicle, whatever the case. But they didn't feed me no BS. They gave me every rebate, every discount, got me the lowest price for this car. When I actually built this car on the Chevy website, this car specifically came out to be $78,000. And at that point in time, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to afford a $78,000 vehicle. And also around that price range, I ain't gonna lie, I'd be really looking into a used R8 or something like that. But no, I did not pay $78,000 for this car. With my trading value, all my rebates, everything like that, I actually got this car brand new for $66,000. And some of you are like, damn, that's still fucking a lot of money, this and that. Yes, it is a lot of money, but at the same time, I don't do anything else. All I do is go to work, work out, play with my kids, and have fun with my boys with cars, go cruising, go to car shows, go to races, stuff like that. And that's pretty much all I spend my money on. So at the end of the day, whatever you are able to afford, make sure you can afford whatever you get. Yes, I did the math, I did my finances, I keep track on Excel because I'm just organized like that. I like to know exactly what I'm spending money on, where the money's going, and it helps me and my wife out, things like that. But I'm not going to get into details with that. But yes, I ended up buying this car, and when I saw it at the front, like I said, I didn't even think that was mine. But after getting out of my Charger and I saw this in person, he opened it up, brand new car smell, just everything looks legit. And I'll show you guys later exactly what I'm talking about. It was sold at that point in time. I mean, I already drove down there, so they already knew I was going to buy it regardless, and hence the reason why we worked out numbers before I went down there, because I specifically told them the only reason I would go down there as long as these numbers that you sent to me via email, via fax are legit, and I'm going down there to literally give you my car, which was the Charger, to pick this one up, and I'm driving it back. Some of you are thinking like, damn, you already put miles on your car. Well, yeah, I had to break it in anyway. It was only a 580-mile trip, so drove my Charger down, drove the Camaro back up to Chicago, and yeah, it was already broken in at that point in time. So now I'm able to have fun. I'm gonna be gone for, you know, a couple weeks and stuff like that, so it doesn't even matter. I still have another car. This is my daily when the weather is nice. At the same time, I didn't buy this type of car to baby it. Okay, I bought this car so I can show it off, so I can race it, so I can, you know, do fun things with it. My boys absolutely love it. I got their intake as far as when I was looking at a Challenger Hellcat and Camaro ZL1, and they immediately liked the front fascia, however you want to say it, front end of what the Camaro looked like. They said it looked like the Batmobile. They sat in the chairs. They feel like the chairs are a lot more comfortable. Mind you, I did have the suede and leather in my Charger. I absolutely hate all leather seats, but that's just my opinion. I hate them. When it's hot, they're hot as hell. When they're cold as hell. They're hard to take care of. My wife's got leather in her Durango, and I absolutely hate it. But like I said, that's her car. That's what she wanted. She can do what she wants. I don't like leather whatsoever. So my boys sat in these seats. They felt like they were hugging them just like a car seat. These seats are way more comfortable. After driving 8 hours in my Charger down to pick this up, you can definitely tell a huge difference between those seats and these ZL1 Recaro seats. Like I said, these just hug you. They hold your body, you know, they hug your side. Like I can't explain anything. It really does feel like a car seat. So the boys thinking, you know, outside the box, kind of makes sense. So as you see in the back, yes, kids can fit back there. That was my biggest issue, was obviously room. I got two boys, an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old. Obviously my 6-year-old's in the back, my 11-year-old's in the front. Do you have room in the back? I would say not for adults, for sure. Definitely not for adults. That was the biggest, you know, thing that I had to go away from, was having that extra back seat. Now, if you have small kids, with the exception of a car seat or a carrier or something like that, he's in a booster right now. Booster and him are good. A car seat will definitely not fit back there. I mean, you can make it work, but you got to keep in mind you'd probably have to have this seat to my right all the way up, the car seat be on that side, whether or not you have your spouse or whatever the case, somebody else in the front seat, they're going to be pushed up all the way forward, and it's just so much stuff that you have to keep in mind. So if you have car seats or anything like that, I would most likely not get the Camaro. I would stick with the Challenger Hellcat if you're looking for a two-door car. Like I said, he's 6 years old. He's still in the booster. Does he need the booster? Yes, as of right now, because with the laws and everything like that, his weight is not where he needs to be, but that's besides the point. So I keep him in the booster just to keep him safe. My oldest, like I said, he's in the front. He's chilling. He's comfortable. He's usually the one who sits behind my wife. My wife is sitting right here in the front row, and my youngest sits behind me. And they're pretty comfortable back there. They have a lot of head space. They have a lot of room. The seats don't sit upright, so their back is not hurting the entire time. They're kind of more slouched in, kind of like a car seat. All right, I'm gonna keep on using that term because that's exactly how they explained it to me. And me, I can fit back there. Mind you, I'm 5'6", 5'7", and my wife is 5'4", so hence us being short, our boys are able to fit in the back. If you're about 5'8" or taller, no one's gonna be able to fit in the back whatsoever. I'm only saying that because then they will not have any leg space. The chair that you're sitting in the front is literally gonna be on their legs, so they're not gonna have any leg space whatsoever, unless they sit back there, crisscross, applesauce, Indian style, things of that nature. Yeah, it's a kid's term, live with it. That's the only way they're gonna be able to fit back there. Will they fit back there comfortably? Absolutely, but keep in mind their legs will be up. What sold me on this car was the interior. I absolutely love the McLarens. Absolutely love what the McLaren's interior looks like. You know, you got the suede Alcantara bucket seats. These come with Recaros, obviously. And at that point in time, when I saw this interior and how you can customize the lighting and just the gauges and everything like that, just the steering wheel itself, it pretty much sold me. It's a different car for sure. I had a lot of people hit me up on Instagram like, damn, how'd you go from a 4-door to a 2-door? How does it feel? I need to know. I'm thinking about getting a Hellcat. I'm thinking about getting the new Camaro ZL1. And I was in that same terms. I actually hit up a lot of people on Instagram who own the Challenger Hellcat and the Camaro ZL1. I hit up a lot of people who own just the ZL1. I had a lot of people hit up people who just had the the Hellcat. My intentions when I sold my Charger was to get a Challenger Hellcat. So a lot of people did hit me up about how the hell did I go from a 4-door car to a 2-door car. Yeah, I can't even say that right. A 4-door car to a 2-door car. Definitely two different entities. This one's a lot smaller. It's not like I went from a Charger to a Challenger because obviously you got more room in the Challenger. But ultimately it just came down to, I have a family car. We don't have to take this all the time. So whenever we're going on a long trip or if we're going to the store or something like that, do we have to take this one? No. My wife's got a Durango, so ultimately we can always take the Durango. There's nothing wrong with the Durango. I love the car too. That's the reason why I bought it. But at the same time, if the wife wants to just cruise around and go to a store, we can still take this one and my boys will still fit comfortably in the back. So ultimately I wasn't really worried about a back seat because my boys are not teenagers. They still fit back there. Now when they're teenagers, hopefully I'm able to give them their own car or, you know, whatever the case. So at the end of the day, me, the back seat was not on my mind. It's not like I was going to a Corvette, because obviously a Corvette doesn't have a back seat whatsoever. Now, yes, I needed a back seat, but did I mind how big it was? No, absolutely not. So that was my number one thing. Number two thing was, do I want the exact same car, like feeling, look, everything the same, with just a faster engine? Or do you want a completely different car? Me, ultimately, if I knew I was going to upgrade, I wanted a completely different car. Hence the reason why I went with the Camaro ZL1. Because at the end of the day, nothing against Hellcats. I will always want a Hellcat. I absolutely still love that car. That's one of my favorite cars. It's a complete monster. There's so many modifications you can do to it, inside, outside. You can throw a pulley on it and make 800 horsepower, things like that. There's so much stuff that you can do, and you can make it go faster, you can make it look sick, put bags on it, whatever the case. At the same time, you see them everywhere. And if you knew me and you followed me on Instagram, went my Daytona, my biggest thing was trying to be different. So when I saw someone do the exact same thing I did, I tried to come away from that, do something else. And then, you know, people started picking up on everything I was doing. And at the same time, I don't care. It's their car too. You know, hence the reason why I put those pictures up on Instagram, so that people could get ideas. And at that point in time, though, obviously I wanted something with more power, and I wanted something different. So that's mainly why I went with the Camaro ZL1. Yeah, a lot of people are saying, dude, you could have just threw a turbo in there or a Pro Charger or something like that. Yeah, I could have. But at the same time, by the time I had spent all that money on parts, installation, tunes, everything I need to make sure that car ran right with any problems whatsoever, I'd be spending just as much as a used Hellcat. And that's exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for a used Hellcat. I was also, you know, determining used ZL1 when I found out they came out with the 10 speeds. But after sitting inside one of these and actually test driving it is where I screwed up. So if you're in the market of a new ZL1 or a used ZL1 and you were already contemplating a Hellcat, do not drive this thing. Because if you drive it, you're definitely going to want to change your mind. Because this thing's just different. You can't compare the two. You probably heard it on many videos. You can't compare the Challenger Hellcat. You can't compare the Camaro ZL1. It all comes down to you. Ultimately, your decision. I grew up on Mopar. I grew up on all my brothers having Chargers, Challengers, Hellcats. So I was like, yeah, I definitely want a Charger. And the funny thing is, I even talk shit about Camaros. I was like, those things are tiny. But that was before they came out with this beast 10-speed ZL1. This thing's a different monster, man. This thing picks up speed like this, and it's insane what you can do to this. Like, I watched multiple YouTube videos and countless number of hours of what modifications can you do to these things. What parts can you put on these things? If I put a pulley, how much horsepower can I gain? How much horsepower can I gain with a cold air intake? How much horsepower can I gain with a modified exhaust? What's it sound like? I went through so many videos to make my decision. My wife ultimately wanted me to get a Challenger Hellcat, and like I said, that's what my mind was stuck on, was Challenger Hellcat. And I kept on looking everywhere, and everyone had a Challenger Hellcat. And I told her, I said, I want to be different. I want something that we're gonna have fun with and still, you know, enjoy it as a family. And yet we can still enjoy it as a family. And at the same time, it's a different freaking beast. That wing is insane. Like, it just brings out the car as a whole. All right, I was looking at another one in Texas, and it didn't have the wing, it didn't have the wheels and the tire setup. It had a completely different look. And then after I saw this one, I was like, holy crap, that definitely makes this car look way different. And then that supercharger one. The supercharger one is not as loud as a Hellcat. I'll tell you that right now. It's not as loud as a Hellcat. But you can do a couple things to make it just as loud, which is crazy. You can change the pulley, you can change the cold air intake, and it's going to get loud. Is it going to get as loud as the Hellcat? No, because obviously the supercharger is a lot bigger on the Hellcat than it is on the ZL1. But at the end of the day, guess what? Fucking car is supercharged. Why does it matter? Okay, it's still supercharged. Yes, the one in a Hellcat is freaking, that thing is what sold me on it in the first place. All right, you put a leg maker intake on it, obviously that whine goes ballistic. You do that same thing on like a Demon, or you just change any type of stock intake on that car, it whines like hell, and it's completely insane, and I absolutely fell in love with it. When I rode inside a Hellcat Challenger with the leg maker intake, that's instantly when I said I want to get rid of my Charger Daytona, and it was a done deal. And I was still driving my Charger Daytona everywhere I went. But like I said, this thing right here, complete different monster, man. If you want a race car, if you want something different to drive, like on the highway, this thing cuts corners like nothing. I would say get the Camaro ZL1. The interior doesn't feel like you're in a Chevy. It doesn't even feel like you're in a Camaro. This is the closest that I could get to a Lexus, to a McLaren 720S, to a Porsche, to I don't even know the Lexus models, I'm not familiar with them. But at the same time, this is is considered a supercar, and this is the closest interior that you could get to a supercar without spending over $100,000. And at that point in time, I was like, I fell in love with the interior. I'll make another video what the interior looks like, a complete walk around of what the outside looks like if you haven't followed me on Instagram, things like that. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm still even trying to understand how to learn this infotainment center, because there's so much stuff you can do with it. Honestly, I haven't even figured out how to use the navigation. You can use navigation on it. I got 30 days free Wi-Fi. That just comes with the OnStar stuff. There's apps you can download, things like that. But I mean, real quick, like my son's over here, he's comfortable, he's just chilling, right? Son's in the back right there, he's got leg room. Okay, he's got plenty of leg room. He's just sitting weird, that's all it is. But he can still push his seat back and be good to go. All right, so the biggest question everyone has been hitting me up on my Instagram about was why did I go with the Camaro ZL1 over the Challenger Hellcat? And honestly, there's no really right answer for it. It took me about 3 months to make a decision. I've asked all my friends. I even did multiple polls on Facebook and Instagram, even just be like, you know what, if I can't decide, I'm gonna let Instagram decide for me. I did the same thing with Facebook. I let Facebook decide for me, because ultimately it came down to, if I can't make a decision, I was just gonna get a truck. I was looking at the Ram Black Widows, and I found a matte gray one, which was sick as hell, brand new, lifted, came with that I believe it's the SCA all performance package or whatever that I guess GMC has. I'm not familiar with trucks, so I hope that's the proper package that it's called. But yeah, that's what I was gonna get. I was gonna say, screw the fast life as far as owning a muscle car or a fast car. Let me just get something that's practical and just get a truck, make it easy, no turning back. Well, after test driving Camaro, I felt like I was in a luxury sports car. I didn't feel like I was in a Chevy. I didn't feel like I was in a Camaro whatsoever. I ultimately felt like I was getting closer to my dream car, a McLaren. And obviously there's no way I'd be able to afford a McLaren at any point in time in my life. I already know it, unless I just put everything in a life savings and then hopefully get one when I'm like 80 years old. But that's not my goal. So essentially, this sitting inside one of these, it was comfortable, man. The interior sold me on it. You have suede, you have carbon fiber, you have, leather. You can customize all your interior lighting, and it was a crazy thing sitting inside one of these compared to sitting inside a Challenger Hellcat. When I sat inside a Challenger Hellcat, I ultimately felt like I was just in the same car that I owned, my Charger Daytona. Now, mind you, obviously different engine, but the interior was the same. Uconnect system was the same. It was the same car. It felt like the same car to me, and I wanted something different, something more, I don't want to say fun, because driving in a Challenger Hellcat, whether you're the driver or the passenger, is going to be fun regardless. You take it to the track, regardless you drive it on the highway. Just, there's something different about that car. But ultimately it just came down to having something different. The interior was the biggest thing. Now, mind you, I already said I have 2 kids, 6 and 11. Now, if you need a back seat for adults, or if you don't really care about a back seat whatsoever, like if that's the last thing on your mind, because like I already said, the back seat was the last thing. That was not a make it or break it type of deal. It was just, what did I want ultimately? And ultimately I wanted to be different, and I went with the Camaro ZL1. Do I have any regrets? I have no regrets whatsoever. It's funny, my buddy, he just traded in his Charger for a Z06, and he ultimately asked me after 2 days, he was like, hey man, do you regret your decision? And I said, absolutely not. No hesitation whatsoever. Absolutely not. Why? Yes, I always will miss my Charger. That thing was just a complete monster in my eyes. Obviously, no, it wasn't a Hellcat, but it was a monster in my eyes because it's what I could afford at the time, and it was just what I could do to that type of vehicle. I have no regrets because driving this, I feel like I'm in a damn race car. When can you ever go 90 miles per hour around a turnpike or cutting around corners in a Hellcat? Whether you're a Charger or Challenger, you can't. You're gonna have to slow down. In this thing, you can cut these corners going 90, 95, 100 miles per hour. You can. And it's insane how this thing just hugs the corners, how it just hugs the ground that you're driving on. Everything. And I hate to say it, you would definitely, I even told my buddy this, you could definitely tell the weight shift whenever you're trying to speed up, whether it's from an all-stop, whether it's from a 40 roll. You feel the weight shift back in your Charger. You feel the weight shift back in a Challenger because it's so heavy. In this thing, the ZL1, it just goes all four wheels. Now remember, this is just a rear wheel drive car. At the same time, it feels like you're driving a damn go-kart. You hit the gas and the thing just goes like nothing. You hear the little supercharger whine. You do hear the whine. Like I said already, it's not as epic as the Hellcat. Like, I'm hitting a corner right now at 65 miles per hour. You can't do that in a Challenger Hellcat. You just can't. You're gonna feel the heaviness of that car. All right, let me take that back. You can, but you're definitely gonna feel the weight shift around that corner. But I just hate comparing both cars. I really do, because I love them both. You know, if you've seen multiple videos, if you've done your research the way I did, you know, it ultimately comes down to you as a person. What do you want? Okay, I'm not gonna say I'm all about the Camaro ZL1. I'm not gonna say I'm all about the Hellcat Challenger, because it literally took me 3 months, countless hours of videos, thinking pros and cons, Excel spreadsheets. Yeah, I'm a complete nerd when it comes to that. I had to find all the modifications you can do to a Challenger versus a Camaro, and there was one video that kind of sold me on this entire car. I'm talking about the 10-speed Camaro ZL1, and I'll go ahead and post that link down below. But it was Cletus McFarlane, his video. He was doing a modification on his buddy's 10-speed ZL1. Now, mind you, it didn't have the Track 1 LE package. So if you do watch the video, if you're curious, it didn't have the big wing, it didn't have the wheels and tires set up, it had a different one. But at the same time, all they did was change the pulley and change the cold air intake, obviously with the tune, and that thing gained about 90 plus horsepower, right? Just like that. It was insane. And just hearing that supercharger whine after those 2 installs that maybe take 2-3 hours, if that, and you're probably looking about a couple $100. I mean, it was pretty much a done deal at that point in time for me. I saw how easy that was, and I started asking all my other buddies who have a Camaro what other modifications I could do. They started lining me up with other shops. I started calling all these other shops, and you know, a couple $1,000s, you can make this car easily go just as fast as a Hellcat, but yet you weigh less. So it just comes down to what you really want, man. If you need a back seat, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're looking for a back seat, you're gonna have to go with the Hellcat. If you have kids, and if you have kids who are not gonna be teens anytime soon, whatever, I mean, if they don't mind being in the back, like I said earlier, there's room in the back, but I would say preferably smaller kids will fit comfortably in the back, like my little man back there. All right, teenagers, if they're tall, they'll be comfortable with the seats, but they're not gonna have a whole lot of leg room. So I hope my 2 cents helps out, honestly. I hope what I'm trying to put out in this video is informative for all of you, making the ultimate decision, because these decisions are not easy. They're not cheap, you know, and I love this thing. I'm not gonna lie. From someone who used to be all about Mopar, no car, Challengers, Chargers, Hellcats, all about it, into a Camaro ZL1, it's different. It really is. This thing's a freaking race car, and I love it. Ain't no looking back. You should see my last post. Ain't no looking back anymore. You know, this thing hauls ass. It picks up speed, and unfortunately, I doubt you'll be able to hear it here in the cockpit, because that's exactly what you feel like when you're sitting in one of these. You can adjust the seat. They go up, down, forward, back, whatever. Yes, you do feel the suspension a lot more when you're hitting the bumps, potholes, whatever the case. In this, because you're much lower to the ground, I definitely feel a lot more in this car than I did in my Charger. And my Charger was lowered on iBot springs, but at the same time, I don't care, because this thing just goes. That's it. Just fucking goes, and it's fucking insane. Oh my god. He loves it. End of the day, just ultimately what you can afford. Keep that in mind. I'm not saying just go out and spend $70,000, get a ZL1 and be like, hell yeah, I got a ZL1, because you got to keep your finances in check. You got to keep your family in check at the same time, making sure you're able to provide for them. But at the same time, it's your life. Live it how you want to do it. Me, I like to live life to the fullest every day, now and not later when I'm old as shit and can't do anything. So, yeah, that's just me, man. These are just my opinions. These are just my thoughts. A lot of people were asking me to do a video on Instagram. Reason being I haven't done any videos in a long time is because I was too busy working, too busy with school, too busy just hanging out with my kids pretty much. Now I'm done with school. Right now I'm about to go on leave, and now I got time to do some things on the side since I'm not doing it with school anymore. So I'm gonna try to do my best to bring out more videos, more content for you guys, reviews of the ZL1. If you have any other questions, by all means, go ahead, hit me up on my Instagram. Hit me up in the comment section below. Ask your questions. That's the reason why I do these things. I got no problem having a full-on conversation with you. I was there. I understand. This is not a cheap investment whatsoever. It's not even an investment. You already know once you drive it out the lot, the depreciation value just, goes down. So I'm not even saying it's investment. All I'm saying is this is not a cheap item to buy whatsoever. So obviously you want to make sure you want to make the right choice, and that's what I'm here for. So by all means, if you like this video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'm going to do my best from here on out all the way until I start school again to bring more content for you guys, especially with the ZL1. We got the Rantoul half mile race coming back up in September. Me and my buddy are going to go head to head in his new Challenger Hellcat, the one with the double snorkel hood. I want to see how this runs up against him. I'll tell you what modifications that I'm trying to get done with the car, and yeah, just make sure you follow along. Like I said, thank you everybody, thank you everyone for all your support, and all of you have a good one. Have a good one. Take it.